Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. If you really are new here, my videos have no edits during my field activation. So if that's not your sort of thing, it's perfectly fine. You can move on to a different channel. If you'd like to give it a go, then hang around and we'll do a park activation together. Today I'm at Fort Dobbs State Historic Site here in lovely Statesville, North Carolina. And as with almost all of my activations this year, I didn't plan to come out here today, actually. This has been a really busy week for me. And I've been traveling back and forth from my QTH to my hometown to help out my parents. They've had multiple appointments this week I've needed to take them to. And so I've been back and forth. And frankly, have just kind of lost track of time. It's actually been going on for a little over a week now. And but this afternoon freed up. And so I've got enough time to do an activation. In fact, plenty of time to do an activation, more than I normally have. And in my car, which is just parked over here, I wasn't even sure what radios I had with me because I had put them in my car and they've been in there for probably a week and a half. But I had plenty of radio gear. I am me, so there's plenty of radio gear in there. So I decided to do an activation this afternoon. And it's kind of funny. As you can see, it is a gloomy day. It's foggy. It's been foggy all day long. It's raining. You may not be able to tell right now, but it's just kind of misting right now. And yeah, just kind of blah day. I never let the weather stop me from going out and doing an activation. But when I can, I try to choose a site that has a covered picnic shelter because it just makes it so much easier and just less wet. And Fort Dobbs has a wonderful one right over here. And I've done probably 3 or 4 or 5 activations under the shelter. It's a really nice one. And Fort Dobbs is not a massive site, so I actually called in advance and asked the park ranger here. I said, do you mind if I come out and use your picnic shelter for a Parks on the Air activation? And they know me. I've been here enough times. And he said, Thomas, he said, on a day like today, we get very few visitors, so you can just take over the whole site if you want to. So I'm taking over their picnic shelter, that's for sure. And I've already set up everything. I set up my antenna. I probably should have filmed setting it up because actually it was kind of a tricky deployment on the antenna. This happens sometimes when the trees that I use for supports are just not in the most ideal spot for a deployment. Ooh, there's some trash. Let's pick that up. Kids come here, so I'm not too surprised. I'll set these off to the side and then put them in let's go ahead and put them in the trash can now, shall we? Usually at the end of the activation, before I leave, I check the site, number one, for any things I may have left behind. And then I look for other trash and pick it up and put it away so that the site's cleaner than when I arrived. This site's usually very clean, but the reason I actually called them in advance is because little historic sites like this often have whole groups of kids here at once, and they take up the whole picnic shelter. And the last thing I wanted to do was interfere with any plans they had. So it's always a good idea to ask before you use a site like this. So what I decided to do was deploy my 40-meter infed half wave. And this is the MM0OPX one. Nice little infed half wave. And I wanted to use this tree as a support. Now you probably can't see this in the video, but the ground drops off here. It goes down, and so it's a little bit of a decline down into this area. So when I have to be careful not to slip here, the ground is really saturated. Super slippery right here. And muddy, actually, frankly. I had to launch my antenna from here because I always throw the throw line or the throw weight toward where I'm operating. And I do that because I use my throw line as a support for the end of the antenna. And if you don't do that, if you throw it from where you're operating out, then you either have to double back or pull the whole cord through or something. I never do that. I'm just too lazy to do that. So what I do is I go to the back and throw toward where my operating position is. Well, in this case, you can't tell it, but since there's the hill up there, I'm actually having to throw like extra just to get it into a limb that will really support a 40-meter infed half wave really well. So I actually had to put some, a little bit of muscle behind it. It took only 2 tries. The first time just really didn't work. I was aiming for, see that branch right there, but it fell shy of hitting it maybe by 3 feet. And so the weight just came straight back down and hit the ground. And I've often said, I think in videos, but I know I've said this in my posts on QRPer.com. By the way, always check in the description below. There's always the very first link is the field report for this very activation. So always look in there. But I mentioned in my field reports before the importance of getting a really quality throw weight. And I like the ones made by Weaver here in the US. They're just very high quality. Because in situations like that where you're really throwing it up high and then it misses the limb and just comes straight down, there's nothing to stop it. There's no friction that's holding it back from coming down really quickly. It hits the ground really hard. And if you hit a rock or you hit something, cheaper bags, cheaper throw weights will burst sometimes. I've read plenty of reviews of that happening. But it came back down. I had to pull it back through because it got stuck in one little tiny branch right down here at the very bottom. I pulled the line through and I redeployed it. And fortunately, it hit exactly where I wanted it to go that time, and so that was it. The negative is I had pulled out gear with the intention of doing some trail work, a trail side activation, so I didn't have a really long, in fact, and using a random wire with a counterpoise. So the last time I had packed all this stuff up, so I didn't have a very long feed line. This feed line's maybe 15 feet long. It's pretty short for a 40-meter end-fed half wave that really wants to use that as a counterpoise, the shield of the coax as a counterpoise. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Normally you want to have a little longer line, but truth is end-fed half waves are pretty darn forgiving. And I think this will work anyway, because I've used end-fed half waves without a counterpoise at all that just hooked directly up to the radio, and that works. So I've got this deployed sort of in kind of a, it's almost vertical, and then it comes down just a little bit. It's like 61 feet of wire, I think. Comes down a little bit, so it's like almost like an inverted V, but just not a very complete one. And my radio today is the Elecraft KX2. Let me set up the camera here. So you're gonna hear a bunch of noise here as I do this. Set up the camera and kind of talk about what my game plan is today, because on the way over here I was thinking, what can I do to shake up this activation? Because also, as I've mentioned before, if you've watched my videos, I love shaking things up every time I do an activation. I just like to try different things. And today I got a doozy of one, and it's probably going to blow up in my face. But the good news is no one will know, because it's only us here, right? If it doesn't work, who else will know besides us? Okay, so first of all, let me just get things going here. I've already got myself set up on hammers with the correct park number, and I assumed I'd be doing 20 meter CW. And I've already set up my logs, just writing this up. Now, I do paper logs and electronic logs. It's kind of a pain to do that, but I kind of like having paper logs, and I like the convenience of being able to submit my logs after I'm done with the Hammers app. I need to bring my tablet out, but my tablet's having some issues. I need to bring it out and use it for doing logging. It's a lot easier to have a larger device to type on, at least for me. See how this bag, it's probably a little bit messy from hitting the ground, but the ground was so soppy today, I almost had to just pull it out. It's very saturated down there. Okay, what was I saying? Yes. So, here's what I'm going to try to do. The last time I used the KX2, the last activation I did with it, which was 2 activations ago, I believe, I did the first part of the activation using 500 milliwatts, or 1/2 of a watt. This time, I think I'm even going to go a little bit lower. The KX2, the really cool thing about it is, it has very granular control of power output. So you said that's 2 watts, 1.8, 1.6. It goes all the way down. There's 1/2 of a watt. It'll go all the way down to 0 watts. Obviously, I'm not going to get anybody on 0 watts. But I'm curious if I could get somebody on 1/10 of 1 watt. This is probably going to, like I said, blow up in my face. Because this isn't like, I've taken my AX1 antenna out and done activations with it. You know, it's my little, like 5-foot, really short little Elecraft antenna I hook up to the KX2 when I'm in a spot that I don't want to deploy a full antenna. And before those activations, I can't tell you how many times I've said, I just don't know if this is going to work. And it works every single time. In fact, it just way exceeds my expectations. When I ran 0.5 watts the other week, it also exceeded my expectations because I was able to get 11 contacts in 13 minutes. I mean, that's about as good as I do running 5 watts. So, but 0.1 watts, right? 1/10 of a watt is just almost nothing. It's not putting a lot of RF out to tickle the ionosphere. So when I was running a half of a watt, pretty much all of my, I think with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 contacts gave me like a, 529 report or something. So it was like really, really low report. I'm probably going to get even worse today if I can make any contacts doing this. I have never, ever, ever done an activation on this low a power. I will be tickled if I get 1 contact on 1/10 of a watt, and I should give that person some sort of reward if they work me with that. But we're going to give it a go and see. Now, I did schedule this activation, so hopefully the reverse beacon network will pick me up, and I will definitely check on here. And let's see here. Well, maybe I'll go for 57.5. Okay, well, I need to sign in, it looks like. So I will look and see what my reverse beacon network numbers look like if it picks me up at all. But again, this is using almost no power at all. This is the closest thing the KX2 will do to no power output. I wouldn't recommend you do this. And in fact, well, I wouldn't recommend you think that you can do this all the time. It could be that conditions will be really great some days and you do okay with it. But in general, when you're doing a park activation, you do want your signal to like actually get out there somewhere and for people to be able to work you. And by going 1/10 of a watt, I know I'm eliminating probably 98% of the people that could possibly contact me, because if you think about it, most people, when they're operating from home and hunting, they have a noise floor that's probably S3 to S5 or maybe higher in some places. And if I'm S2, they're not going to hear me. They just won't hear me, and because I'm going to be covered in their noise floor. So I wouldn't recommend doing this necessarily. And there may be some people that say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this during POTA. I mean, you should use a respectable amount of power and do that. But the thing is, POTA is an activity, and this activity is all about getting outdoors, appreciating our public lands, but also getting better at our field skills, right? And I do think that there could be times, like in terms of preparedness, where you need to operate really low power, maybe to conserve your battery or something, and at least you know the capabilities of what your antenna and your radio can do. I don't really know what propagation's like today. In fact, I'm going to check real quick and see if my buddy Mike wrote back and told me, and I don't see anything from him. Oh, wait. Yeah, so he's saying that propagation is really poor today. I did get a message from him, so we'll see. I've got time, though, today, so I'm going to be really patient with this and just see what happens. Okay, let's try to find a clear spot here. Is there some? So we're on 59.5. See if anybody's there. Yep. I'm hearing some signals, so that's a good sign. Doesn't mean anybody's going to hear me. Oh, wait. Let me check and make sure I've got this on bypass. I need to make sure that the ATU is on bypass. When you're using a resonant antenna and you want to use it as a resonant antenna. Ooh, no SWR at all. But also, very little power to have SWR coming back. Now, that's a really big question. If you had an antenna with a horrible match, but you're running a very low power, I guess it's the same thing. You're not getting much power out, but your radio won't complain as much because there's not enough standing wave coming back that's problematic. Okay, let's see if anybody's here. I'm hearing some. Okay, I need to get out of that area because that's usually where contests happen. Let's listen here for just a second on 140605. Okay, let's give this a go. 1/10 of a watt. Oh, hang on 1 second. I've got a message I need to answer here real quick. Okay, there is somebody there. Okay. Sorry, it's my daughter writing. There's somebody tuning up. The one good thing about running 1/10 of a watt is I won't be stepping on anyone's toes if I start calling QRL and there's actually someone there having a conversation. Okay, let's see here. It'll be something if the reverse speaking network is able to pick me up. Then I'll let you know my signal's making it out there somewhere. I got a 4 dB. That's respectable. That's respectable. Okay, I'll take that. Okay. Oh no, there's somebody there. Oh. Oh no, there is like a test or something. There's a contest going on here on this frequency. This is gonna make it difficult. He's telling me there's QRM, or did he say QRM or QSB? QRM. Let me move up a little bit. There's a station there, and my signal's so weak he can't hear me. Let me move up here. Why are the bands so full? There must be some kind of little sprint or something going on right now. So it should respot me. It'd be great to get Bob in the logs. But pretty much any other signal that's there is going to wipe me out at 1/10 of 1 watt. And Bob, if you're watching this later, Bob's an incredible POTA operator and SOTA operator. Trying to force it to, yes. So it's respotted me now. Yeah, see, my RBM's giving me 3 dB. That's really low. Yeah, got him. I'm a 229. Thanks, Bob. Very happy Bob was my first there at 1/10 of a 1 watt. He's a bit of a POTA ninja, so I'm not at all surprised he was able to pick me out of the static. Wow, 579. Oh, there it is, GSL. This is so much fun. Now, I gotta admit, I know that they're not hearing everything. With any bad propagation like we're having today, I'm probably fading out completely at times, but at least we're finishing the exchange. What did I do? I just knocked my... This calls for some water. That's exciting. If I only worked 3, I'm very pleased with that. Okay, let me fix up my logs now and take out the placeholder I had in here so it's not confusing in my logs. Delete that one, yes. We have 6 contacts. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I never, ever would have guessed that I could get 6 contacts with 1/10 of a watt. I'm very pleased. This made my activation right here. This is great. My apologies to everyone trying to chase me right now that can't hear me, but it's worth it, right? I mean, science and stuff, right? Great to get you in the logs. I'm sorry, this is insanely fun, but I will resist doing this in the future. I don't want to do this every time because if someone really wanted this park, it could be kind of challenging to hear me, but I'm going to pump up the power later. If I can make 10 contacts, then I'll turn up the power to 5 watts, a blistering 5 watts. Radio shouldn't be this much fun. This may be everyone that can hear me. You may have noticed everyone has a really strong signal. I suspect these are people that have decent antennas and are... I'm about getting consistently 5 3s and 5 2s. This is so much fun. Sorry. I need to maintain my professionalism here. Yes. I just validated an activation with 1/10 of a watt. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. That's insane. I got all 10. Okay, I need to turn up the power now after this so people can actually hear me. Okay, let's turn up the power. We'll turn it up to 5 watts. I want to make sure that people can hear me. There we go. Now that'll sound, if you think about it, someone can do the math for me. What would the decibel difference be between 5 watts? So this was... Sorry about that. I gotcha. I do the same thing, buddy. Good to finally work you. I think I got that right. That's okay. I do the same thing. Okay, let me see. Ooh, sorry, I was trying to find a fly at the same time I'm doing that. Good to get you in the logs here. Good to get you in the logs, Carol. Nice to get Arkansas. Listen how low the noise floor is here. Okay, wait, see, what was that? You there? Oh. Got it. He's just fading out there. Yep. Minnesota. Okay, KOTT. If I can get this right. There we go. band's coming up. That's how bad the bands are. That is called QSB. My dyslexic brain was turning that into O's. I forgot to say thank you. Sorry about that. Got ahead of myself. Carl, I have to thank you because your KHK and the 5 have really helped me with my H's and my 5s. He said New York. Okay, let's move up. Let's QSY. I want to go up to the 18 meter band now, or the 17 meter band. Now, so I'm using a 40. Okay, first of all, wasn't that brilliant? Oh my gosh, I didn't get a chance to really enjoy that. I'm up to 28, but I have to thank these first 10 people. I mean, wow. The weak people we were hearing in the crowd here, that's what I sounded like on the other end, if not worse. Most of those were giving me 529s, 539s. They were giving me very honest RSTs, and I'm proud that we actually got that much. I mean, it just goes to show you how good also an end-fed half wave works. Even under these circumstances that aren't absolutely ideal, it works brilliantly. And if you look here, I mean, like, I'm just floored by that. And I'm not going to do this every activation. I mean, as fun as this is, I want to make sure when I go out that I'm giving my signal, a fair chance when I'm going out there, because there could be some people that want this park. And Fort Dobbs is not the most popular. It's not a rare park by any means, but it's not the most popular in the POTA network. And so I want to give an opportunity. In fact, my buddy Vince VE6LK was just he was just sending me a text saying he's in Banff and he couldn't hear me to call me, but he's at Victor Echo 0005 and he said, I can't hear you. He doesn't know I was running 1/10 of a watt. If I'd have been running 20 watts, maybe he could have heard me. I have worked Vince before, but I'm going to move up to the 17 meter band. Maybe if he's still there, maybe he can hear me. Let's change this to 17 meters. Now what I need to do, this is a 40 meter end-fed half wave. It is not resonant on, if I hit, you can see it's way, way high SWR. It's not resonant on 17 meters. That is an unharmonically related band. So what we're going to do is hit the ATU here and change it back to auto. And then, I guess I'll just stay where I am. I haven't heard anybody here. And we'll have the ATU sort out a match. So at least it's making the transceiver happy. 1.2 to 1. That's not too bad. If I hit it again, let's see if it'll 1 to 1. See, I figured I could probably get a 1 to 1 with this because there's plenty of wire, and this is a very wide range ATU. The ATU that's in the KX2 and the KX3, in my opinion, are the best internal ATUs on the market. Now, I'll agree that the Xiegu products have an extraordinary ATU as well, but there has been at least one situation I've been in that the Xiegu could not match something that the KX2 could match. And so that has happened to me once, but both are great, really great. Now, I think the KX2 is orders of magnitude better in terms of receiver performance and all other characteristics than my Xiegu X5105. And as I'm using the KX2 here right now, there's a little part of me that says, you know, you ought to sell the X5105 and buy a spare KX2 because I love this radio so much. But these are really hard to come by right now, like extremely difficult. Elecraft has months out on the lead time of these, and you can't even find them used anymore. I don't need a spare. I'm not going to do that. But I love this radio so much. It's tempting to do. My keying's really good with it. Elecraft's keyer is excellent. The Xiegu keyer, I need to double check it. Last time I made a video with it, I just haven't done well keying last time. And one of my readers commented, I let a friend borrow this and take it to Ireland, and there's a decent chance he changed the iambic setting on it for him. And I didn't check that. It may be like A instead of B. I just need to check it and see. And that could have something to do with tripping me up a little bit. Okay, now that we've got a match, let's go ahead. And to just be crazy, I don't know how long this will do this, but let's put it on 10 watts. The reason I say I don't know how long it'll do 10 watts is because I've already used this on 2 activations, this internal battery, so it's run through 2 full activations. And one of those I was doing 10 watt single sideband. So what'll happen is once the voltage drops to a point that the Elecraft just really can't support 10 watts, it drops it down to 5 watts, which is my normal anyway, right? 17 meters CW. So I'm going to say this is 10 watts. And my first 10 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. that's just insane. I'm sorry. This is so much fun. People ask why QRP is fun. This is it. It's hard to believe that you can do this with just so little power. Now, there is a big difference. Okay. You can actually read it here. Water time. Gotcha. Okay, I've got to do something. Okay, I've got to do something. My daughter needs help with something real quick. I need to try to help her with that. Let's see, let me get in here and try to put okay, let's see. Sorry, my daughter needs, I'm having to do this on the side here. If I can get this to leave. Okay, wait, let me try this again. I'm just telling people to wait. That's just telling people to wait, that's all it's doing. Okay, let's see. Cancel, let me... Okay. Let's see. Select all, copy. Okay, let me take care of this with my daughter here real quick. Okay. So when you need to tell someone to wait, this was a good example, and sorry for all that off-air time there, you send AS. AS sort of means like, hang on. I got another call I need to put in here, KI5. I didn't get this in the log. LKS. There we go. 07. Okay, another Arkansas. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Okay. Little they know I was running 1/10 of a watt earlier. It's okay. It's about to write RI. It's like RI. let it do all the hard work. I could go down to the lower band here, go down to 40 meters. See how much battery I have. I'm going to plug in the battery in my camera. You won't feel a thing. I'm just going to do this on the side here. Yeah, 17 meters is not nearly as strong as 20 meters was. Someone asked me, I did an activation in October at a park event, really awesome park event there in North Georgia with a POTA group, and I ran 250 watts CW. I'd never done that before, especially not at a field event. But the person that had the radio said, "Yeah, just go ahead. I want you to do what 250 watts." So I did it, and they asked what I noticed, if I noticed any difference, and I really didn't. I work the same people. I work at 5 watts. It seemed like same propagation pattern, same signals, same reports. So I feel like there is a point of diminishing returns, with QRO. Now, I will say that if you're trying to reach DX, sometimes adding power to it can make the station, a DX station, maybe hear you a little bit better. But it takes a lot of power to, overcompensate for maybe an antenna that's not optimal. So really you invest in your antenna and it makes your QRP power, go much better. This is a case in point, 0.1 watts. I mean, that's insane. Maybe someday, like on a weekend or something, this is, I mean, I probably shouldn't even say this because it's probably just wrong to do this, but I may try to run something like a really compromised antenna with 0.1 watts or 0.5 watts. Okay, is that right? Okay, WA. Nice, Idaho. Okay, wait. Okay. Is that HP? Okay, I got it right. Strong signal. Great to get you in the middle. Ooh, they came way up. Good to get you in here. Another, yes, excellent. 16. Another Idaho. The band's coming up a little bit. Maybe Vince will hear me if he's out there. 529, okay. I'll take that. I'll take that in Washington State. I heard another station there a minute ago. Just making sure I've got my logs complete here. Yes, I do. 36 stations right now. Wow, you got a strong signal. Someone has got to remind me to take some photos. Because I always forget to take photos. I'm doing it now. That's nice. I usually try to send merci when I'm working with a French-speaking place. Wow, I'm still running at 10 watts. It's amazing. The battery in this thing. KX2 is just an amazing radio. It just is. Now, to be honest, the KX2 had nothing to do with being able to work these stations on 1/10 of a 1 watt. That had more to do with the antenna, but the fact that it has that granular control for power is just amazing. Now, I keep my thumb here because I hit the key if I hear a station pop in. Or I can hit transmit or whatever to stop it from doing the repeat over and over and over again. I'm getting less signals, I'm getting less stations on 17 meters, but it is reaching into some areas that, like Idaho, was it Montana that I worked earlier, or was that on 20 meters? I think one of these was Montana, maybe. No, it wasn't. It was Idaho, I'm thinking. Getting some down into Texas, too, and Missouri, and Washington State. I'm doing this intentionally to try to work VE6LK in case he's still at Banff. If I lift up my phone to take pictures, that's when someone will call me. It always happens that way. Okay, this is so exciting to me. If you can't tell. It did that again. When I flip off the screen to do like the camera or something, I come back and it's taking me back to the logbook setting, but it keeps everything in here once I've got it going, so that's okay. If you don't have anything registered in your logbook yet, though, it will just kind of blip out a lot of the settings you put in there. It's nice to actually not be super pressed for time. 30, what time is it now? I'm almost coming up on an hour. It's so rare that I get to do like an hour-long activation when I'm not at a park or something camping. You got a big signal there in Texas. Okay, where should we go next, huh? 30 meters, I could tune this for 30 meters, but let's go down to 40. Let's just do 40 here.
6, 7.
There we go. Now I can probably disengage the ATU, put it in bypass mode. Wait here just a second, make sure there's no one on frequency while I change bands. There we go. And right on here, 40 meters CW. Now I should start seeing stations in the mid-Atlantic, down to Florida, out to maybe Tennessee and Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, those stations. Yeah, I've worked a lot of those on 20 meters as well. Now I'm going to back the power back down to 5 watts. Let's do that. Whoops. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to write on here 5 watts down, so I'll remember later that that's what I was doing. Okay. I'm not hearing anybody there. Hopefully there's a little action on 40 meters. Man, it's so nice to have a relaxed activation where I don't have to really rush out. Here we go. It's 3:30. I can probably operate another 30 minutes, something like that, before I need to pack up. Take a picture here while I'm thinking about it. Double check my messages. I'm expecting lots of messages and things today, so that's the reason I've got to be really careful here. I could get a phone call I'll have to take. Maybe I should celebrate by making an eggnog latte or something. I should have brought I have my coffee gear with me, but I've actually had too much coffee today, and that's the reason I haven't even thought about drinking any. I've just kind of OD'd on coffee this morning. States. Woo. Why was I sending good morning? Why was I sending good morning? Okay. There we go. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. You know, I didn't think that was who I was calling back, but you know what? No one else was on there, and that was great to get him in here. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think I do. Yes. Yeah, got him. Okay, yeah, I know who you are. You in there? Let's get you. Can you hear me, Carlos? Okay. Carlos, baby, will come back up. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time. Whoops. Come on, Carlos. No? Nothing heard? Okay, come back to me. Please come back to me. Okay. Woo! Okay, one more time. No. Oh, I should have said. Gotcha. That's strong, isn't it? Ask me how I heard that. This is where I need to be able to send a plus 20 dB. Lots of North Carolinas in here. Was that right? K4. K4D question mark. Nobody? Okay. Okay. This is about as fast as I can go. There we go. Yeah, gotcha. There we go. Oh yes, good, good too. Dare I do a CQ? Oh man. It's so fun though not to be rushed. I will need to leave here in, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, 15 minutes. Oh wait, that's KB4, okay. Yes, got you, Carlos. Excellent. Nice call sign. Oh, gotcha. Boy, hear how bad that is. Okay. I got you. Got you. You came back. Good. Yeah, I thought I heard RI. Better turn that off. I do need one run errand, and this is going on for, oh gosh, how long? 104 minutes. This may be the longest video I've ever done, and I hope YouTube even takes it, to be honest. Sometimes they cut off videos that are too long, so we'll see if that'll work. I'll try to get this thing uploaded. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this. This was some heck of an activation. First of all, it's way more contacts than I normally make, so it's 65 contacts this time, and 10 of them were made at 1/10 of a watt, and then a whole ton were made at 5 watts. Then no, that was 10 watts here, wasn't it? And then 5 watts. Yeah, this was 10 watts. I put 5 watts here. I need to correct that because I went up to 10. No, that was on 17 meters. That was on 17 meters. That's right. This was 5 watts. Look at me, I'm making a mess of my already messy logs. 5 watts. Then I went to 10 watts here, and then 5 watts back down again. So this was really fun. You know, okay, so some observations I had. 20 meters was doing really well, actually. 20 meters was great. 17 meters, not quite as strong, but the stations I did work were very loud. 40 meters was doing splendidly. But it's really funny. It felt a little short, except for my Rhode Island contact, and what was the other one? There was another one besides Rhode Island. It was up a little further north than I was expecting. Was it Massachusetts or something? New Jersey. Yeah, and those were a little further out for 40 meters right now, but it seemed like everybody else. It's not often that I get to work so many North Carolina stations on 40 meters. So that was kind of a nice thing. So, okay, wow. So, I'll tell you what, this has been one heck of an activation, and I probably should not draw out my closing here. It's raining. It's going to take me a little longer to put up everything. Just because that's going to be messy and wet. It's raining right now, so that means that my throw line bag down there is probably pretty wet. I need to dry that out. I'm not going to throw that back in my bag. I'll let it kind of air dry. I'll then put up my InFed half wave, roll it up, and I brought more stuff out here than I really needed today, to be honest. Because I really hadn't made up my mind what antenna I was going to use. I thought, well, I'll use whatever's in this blue bag, and this is kind of the past few weeks. This has been kind of a catch-all bag. I've got a few antennas in here. I've got little DC distribution panel. This is the old one that was made by the Ham Radio Workbench Group. I have it upside down. I don't have my glasses on. Anyway, this is the old one. They have a new one, and I actually built one of the new ones, and it's at home right now being used. Highly recommend you get one of these. Probably by the time this video's out, maybe they'll have them in stock again at DigiKey. I'll find out soon enough, because I'm actually recording a Ham Radio Workbench podcast episode. I'm a guest on there again Friday. Yeah, we're recording it Friday, so it'll probably be out like the following week or something. I have 2 batteries in here at the moment. This became a catch-all because I've been experimenting with a bunch of different radios, so I carry a bunch of extra accessories in here so that I can, whatever radio I have, I've got enough stuff to wire it up and get it going. This is my battery bank I've been using to power the camera, because the camera battery only lasts about an hour, and we've been going well over that. So anyway, let's pack up in the rain, shall we? And head home in the fog, probably. And get out of here before they close the park on me. Let me run my rest of my errands. This has been so very much fun. I can tell you that part of the fun for me with radio is being able to try something different and experiment. And if you couldn't tell, I mean, this is just so exciting to me, like really exciting to be able to work and actually validate an activation in short order with only 1/10 of 1 watt. That's just pretty darn incredible. So I'm very pleased with that. That just made my day. Again, I'm not going to do that every time, but it's kind of fun to know that you can do it, because, you know, I think on a weekend, I would even do so much better as one of the park employees in period garb. They wear period costumes here. So yeah, it's just fun to know that you can do it. Now, I think on a weekend when there will be even more activity, more hunters out there, you know, because you can do this. Now, I wouldn't try this with a small antenna, small vertical or something. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it. I bet you could. But I think probably it helped that I was using a full-on in-fed half-wave in a pretty good deployment. Even though this was suboptimal, just having such a short feed line for a counterpoise, it'd have been even better had I had like a really good counterpoise laying out here, but I didn't have that. But hey, it works, right? I got my 10, so I'm so happy. Man, this is going to be an activation to remember. Okay, before I gush anymore, you're probably like, Thomas, come on, you can stop bragging about that now. Well, it's not bragging so much, but I'm so pleased. It's so exciting that I have to tell somebody, and you're here, right? Thanks for joining me today. And I hope that you get a chance to go out and play some radio, play radio indoors, outdoors, wherever. Just hop on the air. Don't hold your radio in your shack and just listen. Actually hop on the air, meet some people, hunt some parks, hunt some summits, get out and activate a park or a summit if you can, or an island, or whatever you've got. There are lots of on-the-air activities, because I think part of the fun of amateur radio is just getting out there and doing it. And the more you do this sort of thing, the better you get at setting up field equipment and playing and experimenting. And don't worry if what you do isn't perfect. As you heard here in this activation, I made lots of mistakes. And there were times that stations came in and they were 5x9 plus 20 dB, yet I still didn't copy them properly. I only copied like the last 2 letters of their call sign, even though they were completely in the clear the whole time. It's just my brain was elsewhere during that, and so I only caught the last 2 letters, so I sent it back and they repeated it, and it's not a big deal. So you do not have to have perfect CW in order to play radio, and you don't have to go as fast as I was going at one point. At one point, when I'm contacting someone that's sending their call sign fairly quickly, and I know that there are other stations waiting, then yeah, I'll speed up what I do when I send it back to them, because it's so formulaic, you know, it's easy to do. But you notice that when I'm working someone that's working a little slower, maybe they're on a straight key or they're new, then I try to slow things down a little bit and just spread out the spacing. I usually don't slow down the actual speed. I find that kind of makes me not key as well. I just put spacing between it, because most of the people who are learning these days do that with the Farnsworth method, where they just kind of spread out the spacing a little bit to make it easier. Anyway, it's starting to rain even harder. I'm going to put this up. Thank you so much for joining me. Be kind to one another, and until next time, 7 3s.